When Christians read Zechariah 12, they would have you believe that the nation of Israel is weeping over someone whom they pierced, but that could not be farther from the truth. In fact, the word pierced does not even appear in the Brenton's Septuagint translation of Zechariah chapter 12 and verse 10. So if that's not true, and the word pierced should really be mocked, then what is really happening in Zechariah chapter 12? Let's find out together. In this chapter, the children of Israel are in the process of returning to their own land, but they have not yet entered. And we know this because Zechariah 12 and 7 tells us that Judah is still in tabernacles, which means they are still in the wilderness, where they must pass under the rod and be numbered according to Ezekiel 20. And our ancestors are already in the city waiting for us. And we know this because Zechariah 12:10a tells us, "And I will pour upon the house of David and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem the spirit of grace and compassion." And Zechariah 12, verse 12 to 14 tells us the names of some of the families in the cities, including the house of David, the house of Simeon, the house of Levi, and the house of Nathan. So how did our ancestors get there? Ezekiel 37:13 tells us, it says, "And ye shall know that I am Yah, when I have opened your graves, that I may bring up my people from their graves. And I will put my spirit within you, and you shall live. And I will place you upon your own land, and you shall know that I am Yah. I have spoken and will do it, says Yah." And the book of Daniel tells us that at a time of great tribulation, the Most High's people will be delivered, even everyone that is written in the book. And many of them that sleep in the dust shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to reproach and everlasting shame. So at this time of great tribulation, when the Most High is gathering us, He will also be opening the graves of our ancestors, and He will place them upon their own land. And the rest of us Israelites who are alive at that time will be trying to get there. Zechariah chapter 12 and verse 5 says, "And the captains of thousands of Judah shall say in their hearts, We shall find ourselves the inhabitants of Jerusalem, in Yah Almighty their God." And just like for the first Exodus, the children of Israel spent 40 years in the wilderness. In the second Exodus, the children of Israel will also spend time in the wilderness. Ezekiel chapter 20 and verse 33 to 38 says, "Therefore, as I live, saith Yah, I will reign over you with a strong hand and with a high arm and with outpoured wrath. I will bring you out from the nations and will take you out of the lands wherein you were dispersed, with a strong hand and with a high arm and with outpoured wrath. And I will bring you into the wilderness of the nations and will plead with you there face to face, as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt. So will I judge you, saith Yah. And I will cause you to pass under my rod, and I will bring you in by number, and I will separate from among you the ungodly and the revolters, for I will lead them forth out of their place of sojourning, and they shall not enter into the land of Israel. And you shall know that I am Yah, even the Most High." And this explains why the house of David and the inhabitants of Jerusalem will be mourning and crying. They are seeing history repeat itself. They remember when all of the Israelites over the age of 20 were made to die in the wilderness of Egypt, and now they have to watch 2/3 of their descendants be cut off. They will see their sons and daughters being refused access to Jerusalem. And now let's read what really happened in Brenton's Septuagint. And with our renewed understanding, it would read, "And I will pour upon the house of David and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem the spirit of grace and compassion. And your ancestors shall look upon Yah, because their descendants have mocked Yah. And your ancestors shall make lamentation for their descendants, as for a beloved friend. And they shall grieve intensely, as for a firstborn son." And although Zechariah 12:11 in the KJV has a very different translation, Brenton's Septuagint's translation really helps you understand what Yah is doing. It says, "In that day the lamentation in Jerusalem shall be very great, as the mourning for the pomegranate grove cut down in the plain." And why does the writer mention a pomegranate grove? Pomegranates are easier to manage and produce better fruit if they are pruned. This horticulturalist says to choose 3 to 5 large stems or trunks and remove the others. And this is exactly why Israel is mourning, as they would for the pomegranate grove cut down in the plain. And Zechariah continues with verse 12. "And the land shall lament in separate families, the family of the house of David by itself, and their wives by themselves, the family of the house of Nathan by itself, and their wives by themselves, the family of the house of Levi by itself, and their wives by themselves, the family of Simeon by itself, and their wives by themselves, all the families that are left, each family by itself, and their wives by themselves." And after the Most High separates the rebels and revolters, this is what he will say to those who remain. "And as to you, O house of Israel, thus saith Yah, even the Most High, put away each one his evil practices, and hereafter, if ye hearken to me, then ye shall no more profane my holy name by your gifts and by devices. For upon my holy mountain, on the high mountain, saith Yah, even the Most High, there shall all the house of Israel serve me forever. And there will I accept you, and there will I have respect to your first fruits and the first fruits of your offerings in all your holy things. I will accept you with a sweet-smelling savor when I bring you out from the nations and take you out of the countries wherein you have been dispersed. And I will be sanctified among you in the sight of the nations, and ye shall know that I am Yah, when I have brought you into the land of Israel, into the land concerning which I lifted up my hand to give it to your fathers. And ye shall there remember your ways and your devices wherewith ye defiled yourselves, and ye shall bewail yourselves for all your wickedness, and ye shall know that I am Yah, when I have done thus to you, that my name may not be profaned in your evil ways and in your corrupt devices, saith the Most High."